What Russell has done that no other software company figured out is he sold the thing that sells the thing. He sold the education, the knowledge of marketing, how to build your business online, and said, hey, this is the funnel builder I have and my team built, building funnels the way I wanted it to. And because he's the expert in the marketing and how to grow your business online using funnels, people are just inherently want to be using the tools he uses, right? And I know it's the same thing with me.
Regardless, Russell Brunson, the team, like if I could buy stocks or shares in ClickFunnels right now, I for sure would.
Yeah, of course.
Like I think there's no doubt they are going to increase their revenue with this move. They're not, regardless of whatever opinions, I have or you have, whatever, I am sure that is going to work. When you have the kind of community that they have behind them and the kind of knowledge that Russell, I think Russell's, in my opinion, is probably the greatest marketer of all time, honestly. Of our generation, 100%.
I couldn't agree anymore. We've been using the platform, one of the early people to use it. It's a quintessential piece of my business, so I know there's different softwares out there, different competing products, but believe in the leaders of the business. I'm betting on Russell and Todd's ability to create the best team possible to navigate and implement a successful roadmap to the best of their ability.
Good morning, marketers. We're back, and today we got Jeff Brewer, who is here to chat about ClickFunnels 2.0. Jeff, what is up?
How's it going, brother? Thanks for having me. Super excited to be here today.
Yeah, Tom, Yarrow, Andrew, they're going to be joining us on our next episode. But today, Jeff and I, we're just going to chat about ClickFunnels 2.0 because Jeff and I have been longtime ClickFunnels users. We actually met at the first Funnel Hacking Live. If you guys are watching the video of this show, I got my original Funnel Hacking Live shirt on. I went and pulled this out of my pajama shirt closet. I actually noticed it got kind of faded, but because of the style of the shirt, it still looks good, right? Like
absolutely,
the letters are coming off a little bit.
I think my whole wardrobe is a ClickFunnels shirt from every single event that I've been to.
Yeah. I actually really like this shirt. I used to wear the shirt out,
they're a little bit quality shirts.
So just real quick rundown on Jeff. First time joining us on the show. So Jeff is still part of the Inner Circle, so Russell Brunson's Inner Circle program. He has been a roundtable speaker at Funnel Hacking Live multiple times. His topic when he's at this roundtable is all about product launches. He was also one of 30 speakers at the .com Secrets Summit. So what Russell did was he put together 30 of the top speakers who had a unique funnel or were an expert on a specific type of funnel. And they each came and shared their knowledge around that funnel. And Jeff's was all about product launches. And he has done product launches that last about 5 days during the launch, and he's done over $10 million in sales using those product launch funnels. He uses ClickFunnels as his primary tool for his business. This is the best accomplishment, is that he was at the very first ClickFunnels certification. This was Russell Brunson's offer at the very first Funnel Hacking Live. You can get ClickFunnels certified and become a ClickFunnels certified consultant. And what Russell ended up doing was he had a competition of who could make the best funnel in a day. I think we had a day or something like that. And Jeff ended up being on a team with me and our other friend Benson and Russell. We all teamed up. We stayed up all night and we ended up coming in first place. And we won $1,000 and we won the bragging rights with us and Russell Brunson after we won the award.
Absolutely. And there was hundreds of people there.
That's all the, credentials.
Us out of
a
couple of people. There was a big group.
There was actually that team that was from ClickBank. I remember they came in like second place. They almost took us, right? But they're a whole team from ClickBank with professional designers and stuff, So, but I remember the part that really impressed Russell. I think it was you that set up the whole email sequence using Actionetics or something like that. That was the thing that really pushed them over the top. Where they're like, "Whoa, this is really good." Yeah. And like the emails were not even like fully fleshed out. It was just the fact that you had thought of putting together all these emails that they really loved. Anyway, so a lot of people have been asking about ClickFunnels 2.0, what the new features are, what's happening, when it's coming out. I think it was supposed to come out last year. Now it just came out this year. I think at the last Funnel Hacking Live, they were talking about it coming out, and now they're just starting to release it. I don't even have it yet. I wasn't at Funnel Hacking Live this past year, so apparently everyone who attended got access to it. You attended Funnel Hacking Live this year, you got access to it, and there's a whole bunch of stuff coming up. We actually did a show about this before. We talked about this before because I've been waiting for this and looking for this because website building platforms, I think they're right now in the phase of being disrupted. WordPress is so slow. It's so hard to build with. But the worst part, it's so slow. I just switched from webfriendly.com, used to be on WordPress, and we moved over to ghost.org. And if you're familiar with Ghost, I mean, how fast it is like, it doesn't even load. It's just like you click and it just goes. Before I'd be on WordPress, you click, you wait. Like sometimes you're waiting literally a minute when you're working the back end of WordPress, right? Like you're waiting so long, especially when you start having page builders and all that kind of stuff, right? And I see a lot of people building different kind of called page builders. ClickFunnels was originally a funnel building platform. What was unique about it was really the shopping cart aspect of it was kind of what made it unique, but also the way they put the building blocks together. I still believe it is the fastest, not in terms of necessarily of like their page speed, but in terms of being able to build a funnel fast once you learn the system. I have access to it. I've tried so many other page builders. It's still faster to build in ClickFunnels than anything else I've ever tried, right? And I think that's their biggest advantage. But now with with ClickFunnels 2.0, they're talking about their page speeds actually being faster too, right? So I think speed is like one of the most important things when looking for these different kinds of web page builders. But I remember Russell Brunson before saying ClickFunnels was not a website builder. They weren't going to have blogging and they weren't going to have these other things that a normal website would have. They were focused on being the best funnel builder. I remember him saying that for years. And so many people, myself included, have tried building their website on ClickFunnels. My website used to be on ClickFunnels back in the day. And it was unfortunate that they never really kind of went all in. They did create the element of a navigation bar, which helped people to be able to make a website, but still, it wasn't really a website builder. And blogging you could not do with ClickFunnels. And so now there's so much more coming into ClickFunnels 2.0 to make it, your full-fledged website.
So whether you knew it or not, you have essentially less than a second for someone to make a decision whether they want to wait for your site to load or not. So this element of the page speed increasing was pivotal to send, if you're doing some kind of search on Google, to send Google positive signal to their algorithm to rank your site number one from an SEO standpoint, but also just from a user experience of people bouncing from the site. If you're sending them from like any kind of organic or paid traffic, load speed is critical. You want to allow people to see the headline, the call to action, the video like above the fold so that they can decide, do I want to keep scrolling down? So if your site isn't loading quickly, you're dead before they even get to see any of the copy or images or video on your page, right? So that was one of the most important things I know for them to fix. There's a lot of features we'll get into that are major systemic categorical platforms, things that they've updated, but they've always, I think every funnel hacking live when they're giving the State of the Union, they've stressed we're making it faster. But that was probably the first thing that they wanted to make sure that they did, because they know, the attention span of a goldfish is 8 seconds. The attention span of a human is 7 seconds. When it comes to loading of your site, it's probably 1 second, right? So you really need to make sure that you're solving that problem quickly so that people can even get to a point where they're reading your copy, or looking at your images, watching your video, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm very excited. It's not just for the user when they're loading the page, but also when you're building the page and, clicking on things in the back end, you want to load fast, right? I can't tell you how many times I've been on a platform that you're trying to build something and just loading forever. You upload a picture, you just wait forever. It slows you down. So I'm very happy about the page speed stuff. So I was not at Funnel Hacking 2022, but I know that Russell gave out this presentation. I have not seen it. And he kind of did this whole, kind of like a Marvel Universe thing, this whole phase 1, phase 2 thing, which I love. And he kind of walked through kind of what all these new features are. So can you just walk us through the features, what's new, and also like how it's different from the original ClickFunnels versus ClickFunnels 2.0? And just so you know, I've not seen this new ClickFunnels 2.0, so I'm probably gonna have a lot of questions.
Right. So I think before we get into the how is it different, we really need to understand the why they did it in the first place, right? So just a quick background is, for the last 6 years since they launched ClickFunnels, they've started off with 10,000 users, and it went to 20, then 30, and then they really exploded to like 100. And pretty much for the last 2 years, they've been hovering around the 110,000, 120,000 level of users. And I think they realized that they wanted to establish themselves as the category king of funnels, right? So we are the best funnel building software in the world, and they have accomplished that. So I think this plateau and this level off that they've seen, they had the opportunity to sell the entire company for over $1 billion. They got $1 billion offer. They were going to take it. They were going to sell it. And then pretty much at the end of it, they got cold feet. And I think Russell just realized, like, he went to Todd. He flew to Todd's house in Atlanta, like in the middle of the night, and he showed up at his front door, and he was pretty much like, hey man, I got to talk to you. What do you think about this move we're about to make? And then they both same time said, we don't want to do it. And I think they just realized, like, hey, what are the chances of us building something bigger? What are the chances of us building this kind of community, this culture, this movement again? But if they're going to continue it, they couldn't just continue as only trying to be the category king of funnels. They had to make an exponential, monumental jump. So a big part of that jump that they've been talking about in the last 12 months is going into the e-commerce sector, right? So going out of just experts in focusing on like, let's take on Shopify, because Shopify, publicly traded companies, like billions of dollars. There is a huge market there to tap into that e-commerce side. And instead of being known as the category king of funnels, they want to be the category king all-in-one business solution. So they said, if we take this monumental exponential approach and do this monumental exponential jump, the current software and platform in its current existence is not capable of doing that. So we need to rebuild it and rebuild it from the ground up. So you're right, about 2 years ago, they started this rebuild. They brought in a whole new expert dev team to do this. And Todd, who's the CTO of ClickFunnels, who's the Robin to Russell's Batman in the company, where he oversees the tech and the tech team and the software side, and Russell's the sales, the marketing, et cetera. He brought in this whole new team to rebuild the platform from the ground up to do all of these things that they want to roll out in this phase 1, phase 2 approach, and take it to the point where they're not just trying to get from 100 to 120,000, 250,000 users to 200,000. They want to get to over 1 million users. And that is the quantum exponential movement that they're trying to do, being because they really tapped out everyone who is building funnels knows about funnels is funnel aware. They're probably already using it, or they've decided to use a different platform. So the only way for them to grow now is going into the beginner level, throwing the rocks at the websites, getting the people who are using different platforms for different things, and being known as that all-in-one business platform solution if you have an online business. So that's the why behind the how. So getting into looking at how, like, what's different, or let's take the existing platform and build it onto a new platform with the existing features. So what's interesting is that I think if everyone who is deep into the software would tell you, is it the best feature-based user experience, user interface, module-based system for everything it does in the world? Probably not. But what Russell has done that no other software company figured out is he sold the thing that sells the thing. He sold the education, the knowledge of marketing, how to build your business online, and said, hey, this is the funnel builder I have in my team building funnels the way I wanted it to. And because he's the expert in the marketing and how to grow your business online using funnels, people are just inherently want to be using the tools he uses, right? And I know it's the same thing with me. Like when I teach my clients about product launches, I'm like, hey, ClickFunnels is software I use. You need to use it too. They don't question it at all, because it's like the tools are the easy things to say yes to, right? Once you decide that it's the right expert, they have the right program and service that you want to offer. So Russell's created this culture, this community of people that follow him, and they don't really care if it's the best software in the world. I think it's the best, definitely has been the best funnel building software and user interface to this point. So the platform enhancements were also to take the people who were like, I'm not going to use it because it doesn't have this feature, I don't like that feature, whatever. So pretty much in phase 1, there's a few things that they wanted to do. Let's start off with the first one, which is the funnel hub, right? So there's 120,000 active members in ClickFunnels, essentially, right? 89 million websites on the internet built on WordPress. So the whole concept of a funnel hub is, let's throw rocks at all the people who want to use WordPress websites or other website builders, like you just mentioned, Ghost. There's new things that are coming out, and say, hey, you can also build your entire website on ClickFunnels, and then we're calling that a funnel hub, not a website, which is pretty funny now, right? So you can do these things by having, because there's just companies, you want to have an about section, you want to kind of show your different programs or services, you want to be able to blog, right?
I want to ask you something about that. I saw him doing a bunch of promotions and marketing for this whole funnel hub thing. Did you see it? I saw him, he had an ad where you can listen to this podcast episode where he met these two guys that, that were talking about it, right?
Yeah, so Mike and AJ, they had an agency where they were building these funnel hubs for other people in Inner Circle and just different clients, where it was like, hey, we're going to build you this website on ClickFunnels. And they approached Russell and said like, hey, let's start building out this new software that can do all of these things that any normal WordPress site or website does in ClickFunnels. So you can get the corporate people who need the about, the services, the programs, and the blogging. So that was the whole thing.
But why was he calling it the funnel hub? Like, I watched the video for maybe half an hour trying to figure out what they were getting at.
Exactly.
It was like, okay, so you made a website. He's basically saying, yeah, they're saying like they took all the funnels, they basically just created like pages or tabs on one website. So I can go to like jeffbrewer.com and then just see all your funnels. But sometimes you kind of don't want that in a way sometimes, right? Certain people see the funnel at
Correct.
certain times, right? You want to time it. So I was like, well, why? It doesn't really make a lot of sense to just have all your funnels out there, right? So I was kind of like trying to get at it, and I was like, okay, so they made like a website, right? And I was like, okay, like I didn't get it. And I don't even know what the whole opportunity was. He was selling something about this whole funnel hub thing.
So when I first got started, I was a digital marketing agency and I built hundreds of WordPress websites for clients, right? So a lot of those clients were in that corporate world, not necessarily like the online entrepreneur world. So the thing I realized when I came in the Russell's Inner Circle Mastermind, he would iterate this notion all the time. It's a confused customer never buys, right? So when you go to a website, it's kind of like you're walking into a grocery store where you have all the different aisles, and most people shop by walking down each aisle one at a time and think, what do I need? What do I want? So you're in there for hours, then you leave and you went in there for a loaf of bread, you came out with your shopping cart overflowing, right? And it's overwhelming. So the notion of a confused customer never buys is solved by the concept of a funnel. Let me direct an avatar to one page, trying to take them to do one type of action, whether it's opt into a lead magnet, opt into a register for a webinar or a virtual event, buy a live event ticket, buy a low ticket digital product. And then you can put them through a series of pre-launch content and the product launches we do. And then you eventually send them to a sales page to invest in a core offer course or a membership or some type of application page, right, to get them on the phone and invest in a high ticket program. So this notion of funnels being the way to get one type of avatar to do one action, the probability of them taking that one action is a lot higher. It's like, do you want to do this or yes or no, right? But what they realized is, like I said, they kind of tapped out all the people who are already using funnels, who are funnel aware. So in order to exponentially grow the user base, they need to start directly competing with the utility that the normal website and WordPress sites give them, which is having one place where you can see the abouts, all the services, programs, products you offer and sell, and then the ability to be able to blog. Because there's a lot of people that just, no matter what, they're not going to use ClickFunnels because those features and that utility of the website isn't available. And there's just, when you get to our level and you have a fully built out value ladder, there's a lot of people who come into your world and they don't want a free plus shipping offer. They don't want a tripwire. They don't want a lead magnet. They just want to go straight into investing in your highest paid program, or at least applying to learn more about that. So the idea of the funnel hub, it's like a one-stop shop that is your site that can link to all of your different funnels in your value ladder. I've just found that there are people online, they either value their money more than their time. So they want to invest the least amount of money and allocate more time to do it on their own. So those types of people are going to invest in challenges, front-end funnels, low ticket products, memberships, courses, right? Then there's people like myself and other people in masterminds where we value our time more than our money, where we would rather spend and invest more money to shortcut the path to success and reduce the time it takes us to be successful, have our time sped up, being able to ask questions, get them answered, get those personalized problems and objections solved immediately so that we can become successful and achieve our desired transformation as soon as possible. Not just assuming that only people who are clicking on your ad should go to front-end funnels and then gradually over time ascend up your value ladder. You can get high ticket clients, leads on the phone and or attending a webinar and applying like right away. So I think it's needed, right, to capture that market, like the 89 million people that have WordPress sites. They can now go after that market and try to get those people on a funnel hub instead of their WordPress website. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about some people that I've seen that do something similar to what I think they're calling a funnel hub, basically.
Plus, when we were building these in my agency, when we were creating these WordPress sites, every site was custom. So we would do a custom design. We're wireframing, designing pages in Photoshop for clients. They would approve them. We would have to cut those designs to HTML, install them on WordPress, customize the CMS. So it's a fully WYSIWYG editor. They can make edits to anything without having to know any code. So it was a very expensive process to build that kind of site. It cost us more money to make it look unique, custom design and custom develop a site that we could then sell for a higher priced amount. So now you could pretty much create these funnel hub templates and create more websites that you could sell for a lower dollar amount so you get more sales, and then you roll them out, sell a greater quantity in a shorter time frame so you can make a higher dollar amount at the end of it. So it's not just only like a premium custom design development solution. So I think a lot of people who are going to be offering these funnel hubs as a service, it's more of a personalization of an existing template, and they have 4, 5, 8, 10 templates that you can choose from, and then you just personalize it and make it for them, as opposed to building something from the ground up that takes a lot of time and costs a lot of money, but is a higher ticket premium service the way that I was doing in my agency 10 years ago. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I have here on my screen just some examples that I remember seeing of kind of what I might consider here a funnel hub. One was Scott Olford's website. Yep. I noticed that when he went in there, you go to workshops and he's got all these various programs. He's got 21 laws of scaling a profitable business. It's free. Skip the pitch. It's $197. And he's got this 5-day online marketing sales workshop, $200. He's got all these other programs. You go here to view programs, and he's got a bunch of other programs. You can kind of like a la carte select what you want, right? Another one that I've ever seen this a long time ago was Grant Cardone, right? You go to Grant Cardone's website, he has a store, and in the store, he just has all these courses and stuff that he's made over the last, 10, 20 years, right? Even some of the stuff is really old stuff. You can also just go and buy merch and, whatever, full on store. You can just shop there all the time. And what's interesting with him is he does like sales kind of like Amazon would do, like an Amazon Prime Day kind of thing. He just does sales in a shop.
Right.
You can go in there and go and buy some stuff. It's interesting. And the other person is, I know is Dan Locke doing this as well. You go on a Dan Locke site, same thing. And he has a whole store with all these various products that kind of target these different markets, right? And I'm sure they have other funnels that you don't see on their website too, right? These are just the ones that you can kind of like choose your own adventure in a way, versus traditionally you don't do that. I think if you go to Russell Brunson's website, I don't think he has a funnel hub. Let's just see.
If you go to russellbrunson.com, he does have a funnel hub there. The other thing too, I would add in, it's like, it's a way to aggregate your organic content on social. So you can also put in like a feed from your blog on that same site. You can put in a feed from your short form content, Reels, TikToks. You can put a feed from your YouTube videos, etc. So it's not just only your funnels and only your programs. It's a way to aggregate your content. So if someone finds you from like a podcast episode, an organic YouTube video, you can send them to the funnel hub, and then they can start following you on all your other social media platforms as well.
Hey, I just noticed that on russellbrunson.com, it says, "I'm Rusty Brunson. This is the coolest thing ever." Do you notice that? And then, is this not his website? What is this? And there's all this like a Lauren Lumsum. Looks like not a real website.
Oh, that's weird. I think they must
That's funny.
be changing it right now, and it's they didn't no index.
They're
no
probably
follow the
changing.
dev page.
Yeah, probably doing something, changing his site, and yeah, probably this is one of the templates. That's probably what that is. They mess it up. It's funny.
Here's one of the things that was the number one thing that people love most in ClickFunnels, and that was the user experience and the user interface. The ability to create funnels, create them quickly, not having to be tech savvy, know any code, etc. The ability to use templates that they already established and gave to you, the ability to leverage other people's share funnels, etc. That's a big reason why I use it, right? The speed of being able to get funnels out, the ease of use, any mom and pop shop can do it, right? It's perfect for the small business owner. You don't have to invest a lot of time, capital, tech, dev team, design team, etc. Right? So in the new page editor, they've been actually using it internally for a while. And Todd made a joke that we weren't going to finalize and roll out the new page editor until our lead designer, his name's Jake Leslie, awesome guy, said that I like the new page editor better than the previous one. So because that was one of the things that's like, hey, this is our number one bread and butter, the things that works well, it was probably one of the things that they were like, can we even improve this? And we're definitely going to change it, but is the change we're going to make going to be a beneficial change or a change that, kind of we shoot ourselves in the foot? Where I think all of their changes platform wide, other than this one, definitely it was a no-brainer. It was going to be an improvement. So this is the one that they kind of held back, coveted most. Jake was the big domino because he was the lead designer. Then everyone internally, Russell, etc., they were using it internally for like their funnels before they rolled it out to really validate, flesh it out that they really liked it. So this new page editor is going to be cleaner, even easier to use, great user experience. And that was the number one thing, like I said, that they wanted to make sure that they didn't mess up, because that was the thing that people I think like best about it, is that user experience, ease of use.
So what's different about it now, Jeff?
Well, one thing that's different, it's on the left-hand navigation, you have your different categories for the different new features and new elements. That's one thing that's definitely unique. For example, you can just navigate through the editor a lot easier, because I think primarily, if you're familiar with 1.0, the main thing you're going in there to do is like build funnels. So the only real navigation you're doing is transitioning between the different funnels you have and looking at, some of the analytics within the funnel, and then setting up some of the backend stuff for the funnel, right? But now, because there's so many new categories that we can dive into in a second, there had to be a more robust navigation. And instead of using like a traditional kind of the navigational categories across the top, they're putting it on the left-hand side, more like what you would see in a membership site. So that's definitely interesting. But I think it's one of those things where just the editor is different. So you're going to have to go in there and kind of get used to it, get more familiar with it.
Are they going to use the whole idea of like using sections, rows, elements?
So here's a big thing, right? A lot of funnels that people would build, especially if you're on you're building funnels for others, is you would need to take a funnel and pretty much copy it into another funnel, then personalize it through like a share funnel, the ability to clone a funnel. But you're still doing that like funnel by funnel, right? So now what's really cool that people are loving is there's section templates. So for example, I could save a header, a footer. Say if like every webinar registration page I want it to be, a headline and a background image and then an opt-in form in one section, I could save that section and pretty much copy it like funnel wide for any webinar funnel I would do. So this is still along the storylines of speeding up the time to get funnels live and not having to duplicate work every single time for people that are doing funnels every single day and making them new.
They had that feature, came out, maybe 3-4 years ago, where you can like save a section and then, and there was in your templates and stuff. They probably just made it faster to be able to do that. I've seen a lot of other page builders have very similar features where you have sections that you put in. I can think of like 3 or 4 right now that kind of do that sort of system. But in terms of when you're just freestyle editing, what I think is very unique about ClickFunnels Editor is they're just the simple formula of you have a section. Your section has a certain amount of rows in it. And inside those rows, you have your elements. Sorry, it's columns, not rows, right? So are they still using that system?
Yeah.
Right. And the other big one was mobile optimization. I think ClickFunnels actually did do a good job on the ability to do mobile optimization, but it was still very manual. And I would love to see them be able to do that more automatic, faster, easier, because you do have to do a lot of adjustments to mobile optimize. So have you seen anything like that with their new page?
Yeah, well, as you know, Google reported probably 5 years ago now that for the first time ever, mobile searches and mobile viewers has surpassed desktop and tablet. So like really over 50% plus of the visitors to your site, to your funnel are coming in there from your mobile phone. So Russell is even mentioning that they're building funnels now with like a mobile view first. And it's less like width-based sections and more like of this vertical section where they're not stacking as much stuff horizontally as they are vertically to make sure it just flows better for mobile. And I think traditionally you had people who would build these sales pages that are like 30 pages, 50 pages long. I think the probability of the realisticness and the probability of someone scrolling through that length and depth of a page from a phone is a lot less, right? Now you can test short form funnels versus the longer form traditional sales pages. I do think if someone went through some kind of pre-launch sequence and then is on that sales page, they're a lot more warmer, but they're a lot warmer and more likely to scroll. But if it's just cold traffic or just from an ad and or just from a social post, someone scrolling through a 30-page sales page on like a mobile phone, probably not happening as much today.
So what do you think, Jeff, real quick on this one, just because it goes into kind of like sales funnel strategy, what do you think about even like the long form VSLs? Do you think people even have the attention span? Because now if it's on your phone and you're watching it and you cannot do anything else but watch that video, you can't close it and, do something else. So and people's attention span on watching a video is like, 1 to 2 minutes, right? I even wonder about doing a vertical video on mobile, right? Instead of horizontal video, right? Because I highly agree. I've seen competitors that are now coming out, like ClickFunnels competitors, that are focused on building mobile-only sites. Like it doesn't even do a desktop version of the site; it only does mobile sites, right? So I think mobile optimization is going to be huge. That's why I'm really interested to see the new page builder, because I actually transitioned to other page builders that I found with lifetime deals, right? And I started using those for different projects. And I just found it was just slower to build. Every time I wanted to do it, I was like, this is going to take a while. I was trying to build something in this page builder, and then it was taking me like over an hour. And then I went into ClickFunnels, like no joke, like 10 minutes I was done. And I was just like, wow. And I still have my ClickFunnels account. I'm not actively even using it. I've been paying for it ever since I signed up. I'm not really active on ClickFunnels right now because I've been using, I switched to another platform because I wanted to build my website with it. And so I don't mind just saying it's called Symvoly. It's not a very popular one, right? It's called Symvoly, but it allowed you to build websites and funnels. And that's why I moved everything over there, because I wanted my website there, right? But what's funny is after I did the whole move, I realized their whole blogging aspect on Symvoly was terrible. It was like not usable. And I ended up just building landing pages that look like a blog post. And I would just copy the landing page and I would make my blog post that way. And I realized it was not going to be suitable to do blogging, real blogging, So I kind of regret it. No, I don't want to say I regret it, but it was like kind of not worth it, right? And then that's why I realized that ClickFunnels, even though, there's so many competitors out there, it's like ClickFunnels is still, in terms of speed to build, it's still the fastest, it's still the best. I want to talk about pricing, because people often are looking for alternatives because of the pricing of ClickFunnels starting at $100, right? Obviously to you and I, we're, sophisticated marketers, we're doing, product launches stuff, to, $100, $300 a month, it's not going to be a big deal. But to someone who's just starting out, right? $100 a month is a lot, right? $300 a month is like crazy to them, right? And what is the new pricing now on ClickFunnels 2.0?
So traditionally what they had is they had a $97 entry point, and then they had a $297 entry point for unlimited funnels, unlimited features, and the whole access to all their features, unlimited contacts is how they positioned it. They already tried this roadmap to be everything to everyone, the all-in-one platform. I think what they found is that Actionetics, the ability to create marketing automation sequences, send emails, it wasn't reliable, sustainable. I tried some launches initially and there were some emails not sending. So I think that happens to you a couple of times and you're like, I'm looking for a new solution because you're losing money. Memberships, I think Kajabi established themselves as the category king. E-commerce platforms, I think Shopify established themselves as the category king. I think a lot of people even were using Keep for marketing automation for affiliates running JV launches. And then Active Campaign has really surged as like the marketing automation of choice.
I hate Active Campaign. I could do a whole thing on Active Campaign.
So I think they realized that was happening. And I know when they went to the Salesforce conference a couple years ago, they saw that as like their future roadmap. And the big takeaway for Russell there, as he explained it in our Inner Circle Mastermind, was Salesforce became the platform, the ecosystem that other app developers built apps to live within the ecosystem on. And then they would either just have those apps be available as plugins, as existing apps within that ecosystem, and or they would just acquire them, roll them up into the ecosystem themselves. But Salesforce didn't try to be everything to everyone and just roll something out. If someone became like a category king of something, they would just acquire them or roll up their ecosystem for someone to build on. So Russell saw that and they tried to model it and they said, we're going to do the same thing. So what that means is we're going to sunset some of the features and we're going to focus on being the category king of funnels. What that did was they were like, hey, we have 20% of our users paying $297 and 80% paying $97. We don't want this $297 level of users who's paying for the big features to leave. So what they did was they rolled out FunnelFlix, which was their essentially a membership site of all of their different, any course or piece of content Russell's ever launched or put out, you got in there at that $297 a month level. They licensed content from Tony Robbins, Jay Abraham, other experts of different topics. In the Inner Circle Mastermind, you have like Julius Dean talking about how to go viral in there. So they pretty much, it was a content play where the software play was what you got. That's how they managed to keep people paying at that $297 level, like myself. So now when they're going to roll out this new platform 2.0 with the pure functionality of all these new categorical functions and features that we can talk about in a little more detail here, they need to charge more for that. So they're going to have a $297 level and then a $497 level. The $297 level is not going to be the entry point for all the phase one things in addition to the content. And then the $497 level is going to be all of the phase two features, I'm sure, once they roll that out. They haven't really 100% clarified and cleared that up, but from my assessment of what they were explaining, that's what it sounds like. And they're going to make it where you can maintain access to ClickFunnels 1.0 at no additional charge for up to a year. So I'm assuming after that year timeframe, they'll pretty much be sunsetting the software and not supporting the entire 1.0 software anymore. So if you have stuff on 1.0, you need to start rebuilding it and migrating it over to 2.0. And now the people who are paying $97 a month, my understanding from the Funnel Hacking Live event was if you were there, you can get access to 2.0 for the next 6 months at $97 a month. And then the new pricing point is...
So there will be no more $97 per month accounts.
Correct.
Wow, interesting. That's bold.
That's my understanding, is the new levels are $297 and $497 in like the next 6 months to 12 months. Who knows if they stay true to those dates, but that's what they said, because they said if you are at 97 and you renew and sign up and commit, you get 2.0 at the $97 a month for the next 6 months until the prices go up.
Man, that is so interesting, because even if they lost, X portion of their users at 97, the fact that a large portion will stay at 297 and they have less customer support issues, right? And all that kind of stuff. But their revenue is probably going to stay the same, if not go up, right? Interesting play business-wise. I think that's really interesting. I know that would have been a very calculated decision to do that. I would have thought if they're trying to reach a bigger audience and now you could build websites and everything, that they would actually have a lower tier price to get people in the door. But it's interesting to take people who are already there at the 97 and basically force them into a higher level, which is, I think it's good. If you're using ClickFunnels, $297 should not be an issue. If you're using it properly, right? If you're getting value out of the platform.
Oh yeah. It's pennies compared to the revenue you can make running your business correctly on the platform. But like anything, it's a tool. The tool is only as good as the craftsman using the tool. So you still have to have the right expert, coach, consultant taking you through a specific framework or system to implement a funnel. And it's just get really great at one funnel in one way, one type of avatar and audience on one platform. And then you can go into the different types of funnels. But I think a lot of people get shiny object syndrome with the different types of launch systems and funnels that you can build on there, right? Stay focused, and then it's easy to bring in the revenue you need to validate the price. If you transition Matt next into the two other primary features on phase one that they're going really all in on, and these are the two biggest ones that they wanted to improve. Number one is the follow-up funnels, right? So it's the whole what used to be Actionetics, that is what they're calling their follow-up funnels. So it's the ability to set up the marketing automation sequences and send emails in there and really create the whole campaign and not just the page you're sending people to and the funnel you're sending people to as a part of that campaign, right? So now a lot of people who are doing bigger launches using ClickFunnels as their funnels the way that I'm doing. Like, I don't really know many people doing product launches of $1,000 courses using the 4-part video series launch in the way I'm using it, doing launches that are making $1 million, $2 million in less than 5 days, right? But the people who are even relatively close to that, they're not sending emails out of ClickFunnels, right? So this is what they want to change. So the thought with it is, if you're currently paying for ClickFunnels and you're paying for ActiveCampaign, Keep, any of the other marketing automation email sequence tools, you're going to get that money back, right? Because you no longer have to invest in that marketing automation platform in addition to ClickFunnels. Also, most creators and experts who are selling programs online either have some type of online membership or they have some type of digital course, right? Who's become the category king in that space? Kajabi. Kajabi's a couple $100 a month, right? So if you then can bring your Kajabi membership onto the same platform of ClickFunnels that your funnels is built on, because that's the biggest thing. They're talking about their new membership experience is going to be the best thing ever. It's going to be beautiful. It definitely looks different than the current one. So I think that's their thought, is they're going to bring a lot of people over from Kajabi, a lot of people that prioritize the funnel building of ClickFunnels, and then the membership is a secondary. They want to bring those people who are paying for Kajabi to not have to pay a couple $100 a month to use their membership. So the thought is, in the aggregate, you're saving money because you can cancel other softwares and tools that you're using for your funnels, for your marketing automation, and then for your online membership as well to house the digital course modules and the online membership content.
Here's the thing, Jeff, that I'm concerned about with this one. One is emails. Actionetics was always restricted. You could send emails to the people who opt in through your ClickFunnels. But if I'm also using WordPress and I want to integrate, my email sending in with the ClickFunnels thing, it didn't ever work. So it was like you could only use it for your ClickFunnels stuff. But if I'm doing other stuff, for example, I'm using Eventbrite to do my ticketing for my events.
Right.
Like they're going to have a full event ticketing system, right? There's a lot that Eventbrite has for events, right? And I want to be able to make it so someone signs up, they get into my email list, and then they get automations and stuff, right? So unless they have that integration with Eventbrite, and okay, maybe Zapier, okay, but oftentimes even that could be, like I remember before when they first had an integration with ActiveCampaign, you could not add tags. So now you can, right? But that was like a limitation as an example, right? So that's my concern with like their whole idea about, they're going to replace an ActiveCampaign or something like that. They have to be able to make it so you could not use ClickFunnels, page builders and whatever, and they still have the best email marketing platform. And I'm concerned that they want to make it so you just use ClickFunnels. And that's where I think it's going to fall short. And then when it comes to membership sites, you got Kajabi, right? You got Thinkific. You know what I think is probably the best one out there right now in terms of like a SaaS product? I don't like it, but in terms of value for money, it's Mighty Networks. And membership sites need community.
Yes. I've put multiple clients on there too.
Okay, but that's the thing. Membership sites, you're just giving out the content, fine. But you need community. And if you have community, you need mobile and you need your app. 90% of Facebook's traffic or usage is on their app. So you can't have a membership site without community, and you can't have community without going mobile first. So unless they're going to have that app where I know there's this a whole lot thing, if you have your own app versus you have like a shared app, which is what Kajabi has now and what Mighty Networks is doing, they're all moving towards this mobile app concept. So that's the thing, is that they're still behind, right? They're still going to be like, we have a really good web-based membership site, but it's not going to be necessarily mobile, and it's not going to have a community. I was looking at new programs and stuff that were like new courses, and I saw people are now hosting a whole course inside of a Discord or inside of like a Telegram. And what was interesting about that was that Discord is a great mobile app. And the fact that you could just put the whole thing on Discord, it's better than Kajabi. And it's like free. It's like nothing. But it's not really meant for that, but it could be used for that. So that's where I'm kind of like not yet sold that they've taken the right approach. They're still creating a closed ecosystem. I could see in phase 2, they're talking about having an open API and you can have your own plugins and whatever, right? But it's still closed, right? If you look at like Shopify, on Shopify, people use Klaviyo, but Klaviyo is an independent platform. It can work with multiple websites or multiple e-commerce stores, but it just has a really tight integration with Shopify. And now there's other competitors out there as well. But when you look at something like Salesforce, is a very closed ecosystem. I also use like Zoho. It's very kind of closed, you know? I mean, I haven't really tried to like use a lot of other tools. There's just so many tools now that I'm like, don't even know what's going on. Same like Salesforce. They acquire so many companies and they roll them in as features that you don't even know what you could do with Salesforce anymore. It's like, it's very enterprise and it becomes confusing to even get into it. Once you get into it, I'm sure Salesforce, you know, probably their average client is paying thousands of dollars per month, not $100. You know, same like HubSpot. They have so many different tools and all this kind of stuff that it's like, as a new user, you have to be sophisticated for sure to be able to even use these products. But as a new user, it's very difficult. So it is interesting that they're very much transitioning. They're trying to upgrade. You said they have 120,000 users, right? They basically need to upgrade the mindset and the business of those 120,000 people. And basically the ones who don't level up, in a way, going to be left behind to all these, you know, competitors who are trying to make all these various competitors to ClickFunnels. Interesting decisions and models. I'd be very curious to see what, you know, follow funnels and membership sites are going to look like.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Matt, I'm not Nostradamus, right? They've already tried to do this and it didn't work. So I'm assuming if they were going to put 2 years into making it work, it's obviously going to work better than the last attempt. I think now it just becomes, can they continue the strength of the community? Because that was a big thing they said. Why did it take us 2 years to roll this out? Because we didn't need to roll it out, is what Todd said, like word for word. People weren't canceling, people weren't leaving. The community at that number was as strong as ever. So we wanted to get it right. We didn't want to, you know, you never get a second chance to make your first impression. And I think you want it to work initially. And then obviously, because there's a phase 1, phase 2, the bigger new features are going to take, you know, 6 months, 12 months, who knows. But in order for the business to exceed the $1 billion valuation, it couldn't be an incremental increase in users to the same features. It had to be an exponential, monumental increase in new platform, and then go after entirely new categories of businesses and users. You know, people who want to launch a Shopify store, they don't even think about ClickFunnels, right? It's not even in their mind. People who are trying to blog, they're not thinking about ClickFunnels. So in order to grow to the level they needed to, they needed to tap into those markets. They needed to bring these features in. Sure, is it going to be perfect in month 1, 3, 6, 12? Probably not. But I think for them, the roadmap is, you know, let's look at companies like HubSpot, $13 billion market cap, Stripe, almost $100 billion valuation. The big players in the space that are getting that, going to the next level, it's doing more things than just being a category king of one thing like they were, which was funnels. So whether everything works 100% or not, I don't think that's really more the argument or the question, because it's probably not going to. Let's call it spade a spade. Everything's not going to work right away to the level it's going to work. And there's still going to be preferential treatment of the people who are deep into their existing software, you know, to change something. But the idea and the concept of being the all-in-one platform, and at least getting new people who are starting the business, starting their infrastructure there, the ability in 3, 5, 10 years to eventually get 250,000, 500,000, 1 million people on the all-in-one platform after they fix the features and are constantly improving them over time. I'm sure it's not only possible, but in their minds, the only logical reason to keep going, because they're both rich beyond all belief. You know, it's the fastest growing privately funded SaaS startup in the world. Most people raise hundreds of millions of dollars to do what they've done. They self-funded everything off the backbone of their own front-end funnels. It's, you know, arguably the most disruptive bootstrapped company ever, right? How many companies reach the $1 billion valuation on the backbone of their own revenue without any funding? I have no idea, but I guarantee the list isn't long, especially in the SaaS space. So when you think about that, it's like, if they don't want to exit, which clearly they didn't, there's no other choice they have than to keep going and take it to this next exponential level. So I think if you believe in Russell, if you believe in Todd, if you believe in the team, if you believe in the community and culture they've established, and you value that more than the micro features of different competing platforms, and there's been a million funnel builders that have come and gone, you know, every single day, but they're still standing the test of time. That's where I'm at. It's like, I just put my faith in these guys, and I know they're brilliant people, and there's a lot of things they need to figure out. I'm sure they're going to do their best to figure it out, and I would rather have a platform where I can do everything on one than continue this bifurcation of all these different softwares I'm using to do all these different things. So it's the dream. Will the dream become a reality? Only time will tell.
But I remember hearing Russell Brunson, he was at a Tony Robbins event. I remember this is on YouTube. And he was talking about how he has all these new competitors that are coming after him, but they're all chasing where he was, 5 years ago. What I'm concerned about with this one is that that's kind of what they're doing when they're trying to create these features like an active campaign or a Kajabi built in, where they're trying to build what Kajabi built 5 years ago. I mean, maybe that's what the strategy, right? Hey, let's this is a 5-year play. I mean, maybe that is what they're doing.
Let's use what Instagram did. Snapchat's killing it. Let's just copy that and make it Instagram stories. Now Snapchat's dead. Oh, TikTok's killing it. Let's copy the entire user interface of TikTok. And TikTok is surviving a lot stronger than Snapchat did, but who knows? Because I think it's that people don't want to change platforms. They don't. So if you can keep like the loyal people on your platform who love you for funnels more than they love the other things for the other things, they want it to work. So they're going to stick with you through the bumpy road. And then you just go to all the new people who don't have an online business yet, but they're going to start within the next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 3-5 years, right? And then you bring them, once they bring their business online, they get started with the all-in-one solution. I mean, to me, that's the play.
Yeah, I hope they will build their products for not for the user who's buying it, but for the ones that they're selling to. I want to have a community platform that's actually engaging, that people, is going to help build that retention and help people keep people there and have all those sort of, social engineering, within it. Whereas I think that they're trying to sell this idea of a membership site to the person who wants to build a membership site. It's not, the features are not there to service my clients. And most people don't know that stuff. If they're going upstream to a more sophisticated market, they might be more aware of kind of the needs to, create more retention and to build community and to do all that stuff. Russell Brunson's a very charismatic person. He could probably put his course on anything and you're going to watch it and you're going to get value out of it because you're going to love it. But most people are not. Right? Most people are just getting started. It could be their first course. So I would love to see more ways that they could kind of use technology to help their customers be able to better engage and retain their users, right? So that's where I really hope membership sites and all stuff like email stuff can work independently. I can use it in many ways. There's going to be integrations. There'll be a focus on that. I think that's the biggest thing with switching to any email platform is integrations. And like, for example, I use ConvertBox for all my pop-ups on my website and stuff like that, right? And I use ActiveCampaign for like 4 different websites. So if I'm now going to switch over to ClickFunnels, I could be able to do the same stuff, right? Like it's very flexible how I can use ActiveCampaign, right? And then when it comes to membership stuff, there's a lot of, you go on AppSumo right now, you're going to find 5 or 6 different membership site things. You pay one-time fee of $50 and I can host my course there. It's going to have a lot of features, right? It's very similar to like Kajabi. Most people are unaware of this in the marketplace, are unaware. You can buy a lifetime deal, $50 and host your whole, So it's like, what is going to be the thing that's going to make it like, I was looking at the screenshot for their membership site and it looks really nice. Like I remember seeing a screenshot somewhere of it's here is the customer center. It almost looks like a masterclass or something like that. Right?
Totally.
I'm not sure what customer center is. It looks good. Like the design is really good. I saw Wistia built out a feature. It was called Soapbox. It's basically you can kind of have your own YouTube channel on your website, but they were charging like $500 a month for it. But the UI, the usability of it was mobile optimized. It was like beautiful. So I really want to see stuff like that where it's like it's designed to retain and engage the end user. It's got to be mobile friendly. It's got to, all that kind of stuff, right? Regardless, Russell Brunson, the team, like if I could buy stocks or shares in ClickFunnels right now, I for sure would.
Yeah, of course.
Like I think there's no doubt they are going to increase their revenue with this moves. They're not, regardless of whatever opinions, I have or you have, whatever, I am sure that is going to work. When you have the kind of community that they have behind them and the kind of knowledge that I think Russell's, in my opinion, is probably the greatest marketer of all time, honestly. Of our generation, 100%.
I couldn't agree anymore.
Yeah, he's so intelligent in terms of like, how he's doing what he's doing and why he's doing what he's doing. Everything is just like, it's on point. There's no doubt that it's going to be successful as a ClickFunnels user. I just really hope that they focus on being able to help me serve my clients, not just serve me, right? I dislike when software companies keep building out new features and so on to try to be like, oh, now we have this and there's more bells and whistles. Now you can have a chat on your website. It's like, I don't need that. There's so many chat widgets out there. You didn't build the best chat widget. I don't need this.
So don't you hate when most software companies are selling on price and features and they just market new features? Well, what they're doing is they're receiving support requests and then prioritizing new features they roll out based on what their customers are telling them that they want most, which in theory is great. But what ClickFunnels does that's different is they actually use the tool and the software in their own business. And they have $100 million revenue business a year. A lot of that is from the education. I mean, Russell has $12 million in annual revenue from his group coaching program. earn, over $5 million in revenue from his mastermind, right? And they're making that in like the 2 Comma Club X coaching, they're generating that revenue, making the offer available 1 day a year, right? So he is one of the best front-end funnel marketers of all time, book funnel marketers of all time. When him and marketers within the company, Todd, the CTO, he's a marketer as well, not just a developer, and they're layering on the client feedback from the community. So I think it's going to be the most community client centric company in terms of what things in their software they're going to roll out, because they're not even rolling it out to the general public until they're like testing that they like it and it's working on their own, where they feel like, hey, it's way better now for us. So let's bring on a beta group of our top evangelists, top people in our masterminds. Let's have them validate it, give us feedback too, and then let's roll it out to the general public. So that's definitely what they're doing. And that's just the thing that I'm saying is like, I trust the top online entrepreneur and marketer of all time leading the software company than other software companies trying to compete on price, features, and that's just a race to the bottom. So I think if you can hold steady and hold strong and just believe that he is the top person and the best person to get you to where you want to go. And dude, at the end of the day, we want one platform to do everything. So I think it's now just a question of, hey, is it 70% as good as the other thing I was going to use, or it is 80% as good? And is that enough to where I can remove the headache of paying a whole nother platform, learning in a whole nother platform, just having everything in one area? That's the dream. And it won't be 100% better than everything, right? Let's manage the expectation. But I think if all these other main things, if they can get to like 70, 80, 90% as good as the other stuff, I would just inherently want it under one platform for payment, ease of use, like mindset, not having to teach my clients other platforms. Like, it's annoying when you have to roll out a multi-software platform tech stack for your clients. You have to validate why each is good. I was on a coaching call the other day, and I'm trying to talk strategy in this coaching call, and the client's inadvertently going down this like path of why should we use ClickFunnels? It's really a waste of time, in my opinion. I think this is one of the things that people mess up most, is beginners focus on like the questions around the tool, and experts focus on the strategy to make the tool work.
It's interesting. Yeah, I don't know if I fully agree on wanting an all-in-one platform, because as I said, I don't think that they could be the best. I don't think they can have the best features for every single thing.
But in theory, if it could happen, you would want that, right? That's my point. I'm not even saying that.
No, not necessarily.
There is a company, nor that it's ClickFunnels, that will be the best in all-in-one thing. It's not realistic. But the dream, the goal would be to not have to have all of these separate, aggregated, different softwares.
Because it's not necessarily, because then you have all your eggs in one basket. It's like, I like using multiple platforms and using tools for different things and so on. I don't know. I don't think I do want an all-in-one platform. I want a platform that does certain things. Like, I think in terms of funnels and my websites, I would love to have all that in one place. When it comes to email stuff, yeah, it would be if it was intuitive, the way, hey, they go to this funnel is associated with these emails. And I think what they're doing with their emails, and I'm looking at their sequences here and that sort of thing, I think that can work. Having your shopping cart and how much money you're making from your website and your analytics, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, 100%.
So let's tap into the last 2 features of phase 1. You just brought up analytics. So there's more advanced analytics. A big thing was, hey, the analytics ClickFunnels is showing me doesn't match what Facebook Business Manager ad analytics are showing me. It doesn't match what Google Analytics is showing me. Now, I don't know 100% that they're going to match moving forward. That's not the point. Just the point is there's a lot more advanced analytics. There's what they're calling real-time analytics. So say you're doing a launch, you can now in real time see how many people are on your funnel. You can now track analytics of your total split tests at once. It's just an easier ease of use and visibility of the total data that it's tracking. And from their standpoint, it's supposed to be a lot more accurate based on them bringing different metrics in the way of identifying the metrics together under their platform. So I think just being able to rely on the consistency and the accuracy of the analytics, and then having some of these real-time analytics in a dashboard with a better user experience and user interface is definitely a critical part of the updated phase 1.
I think analytics alone, like I've seen analytics platforms that are like $500 alone just for analytics.
Right.
So if they could hit on good analytics and people to be able to figure it out and use it and make use of it and so on, that's probably going to be the most powerful thing. I think if that's all they did was build a really good analytics platform, I think that alone they could have charged $500 a month to be able to access the analytics, these advanced analytics.
Totally. I mean, you have a lot of people using Wicked reports. You have a lot of people using Tableaus, like the visual representation, illustration of the aggregation of multiple data points to be able to present it at a executive summary, easier way to understand. And really that, if you look at who's the other fastest growing SaaS company in the world in the last 2 years, it's Hyros, right? Alex Becker's company. He's pretty much taken it from like zero to, I believe it's already probably around like a 9-figure valuation. And that's the ability to aggregate multiple data points and have more accurate tracking upon your analytics if you're running Google ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, TikTok ads, etc. And now he's focusing on more of the ad tracking of local businesses and like high ticket phone calls, because those conversions are happening offline, right? So bringing that in, because I think industry wide, like a lot of people are using that as, a lot of agencies that I talk to and work with, they're using that as the ability to have more accurate reporting. And that's a couple grand a year minimum if you want to use that. I don't know if this real-time analytics is going to replace that, because that brings in the different ad managers of the different platforms and that different service side tracking of like the offline metrics. And this, I'm sure, is just more trying to encapsulate the more accurate analytics of ClickFunnels. But I have to imagine that they would be also trying to validate their analytics against the different places you're running ads. So if Facebook's saying you have this many conversions and ClickFunnels is saying you have a different number of opt-ins and a different number of revenue, right? It's which one do I trust? So I know that was a huge point of emphasis for them, is to not only make it more accurate, but make it more the ability to validate the accuracy of the analytics and to be able to show the real-time analytics, because a lot of people are using the funnels for launch. Actually, the biggest need in the marketplace, and I think a lot of people would validate this in the last couple of years, was the ability to have accuracy in your analytics, because all of these different platforms, dashboards you were on were giving you different data. So it was more, okay, do I trust Facebook? Do I trust Google? Do I trust ClickFunnels? Do I trust whatever analytics software I'm on? Do I trust Shopify? And they were all different. So the mission, I believe, as I understand it, was to have a validation of the accuracy of the analytics, that it is accurate and that they can all speak to each other to improve the accuracy. And there's a lot more technical aspects of it that make them, the validation is accurate, right? But I know analytics is obviously a huge, if you don't know your numbers, how do you make the right business decision, right? And that's one of the most important things. If you don't know your numbers, you don't really have a business. So, Dan Kennedy always said, he or she who can spend the most money to acquire a customer wins. Well, if you don't actually know how much it costs you to spend to acquire a customer, you don't know how much a customer is worth to you after 6, 12 months or after 3 to 5 years, how do you market to that? And amateurs focus on the front end, experts focus on the back end. So if you want to be an expert, you really need to know your numbers on the front end and the back end so that you can monetize for the back end in your business. So analytics is really at the key of doing that accurately. And then the final thing in phase one, it's payments.ai. So my understanding is that there's a payment processing company, payments.ai, that they acquired. And this was one of the ones that they rolled up into their existing ecosystem. And one thing that has happened, at least with some high-risk service-based companies, is if your payment processor shuts you down, you're pretty much screwed. So one of Russell's previous companies before ClickFunnels, where they were selling digital information products over the phone, pretty much the payment processor shut them down because they associated them as like high risk because they had some cancellations, and they had to pretty much lay off their whole entire 100-person staff like in days. So your company, your business can be, if you're doing big volume or you're in the, you have a launch coming up, you're in the middle of a launch, you can be at the mercy of a payment processor. So what Payments AI does is that it gives you the ability to implement multiple payment processors into the same Payments.ai platform. So if one doesn't validate and go through, you can have another one, right? So that's number one.
Oh, wow.
Number two is that if you have some kind of recurring revenue in your business, and also we all know if you don't have recurring revenue, you don't really have a business, right? So recurring revenue is the ultimate dream, the ultimate goal that every online entrepreneur should be trying to strive and achieve toward. One of the downsides with having recurring revenue is you experience some level of churn, right? Some level of attrition, some level of people dropping off, canceling every single month. And some of those churns and some of that cancellation isn't due to them wanting to cancel. It's just due to failed payments occurring because their card didn't process. So now what you can do with payments.ai is they can put a backup credit card in there, so that if the same way that you can with your Facebook business manager, if you're running ads, so that if your card doesn't go through, your ads don't stop, you can incentivize and tell your clients to put backup payment plan methods in there. So if their first one doesn't go through, doesn't process, doesn't work, it automatically will charge their backup plan, and it automatically will, I believe it can run it through different payment processors too, so that sometimes it doesn't go through because of the payment processor trying to run it. So it's like, but it will go through if you try to do it on another payment processor. So all that is happening in the background automatically on its own.
Wow, that is crazy.
So the whole goal, it's reducing churn, and talk about the whole manual follow-up process you then have to go do of emailing them saying, hey, can I get your new card on file? Waiting for them to respond, getting it on file, uploading their payment info,
Those are like, dunning emails. Dunning emails like can identify that their card's gonna expire, send them an email and say, update your credit card. So that's been around for a long time. I know Thrivecard has that. A lot of payment processors do that, right? But being able to plug in multiple payment processors, because I know it becomes an issue. Like if you have to, like for example, next month, all of a sudden, boom, $100,000 in transactions, right? You're probably gonna get shut down. If this is what they're saying, is that you could have multiple payment gateways and it could divide it up so that way you're not putting all your money in one place. That's crazy, because I know people who do launches. I remember when I used to do launches before, I would contact Stripe and I would tell them I'm doing a launch. There's going to be increase in revenue coming through. Please don't shut down the account. I remember I learned to warn them about it to make sure it never happened. But I hear it happening to people all the time.
I heard that happen to people all the time with Stripe, and I also took the same approach for Anytime, because my main primary business is I help entrepreneurs create and launch product launches, and the whole base of a product launch is to generate the greatest amount of leads and revenue in the shortest time frame that you possibly can, right? So if you don't inform the payment processor that, hey, we've been not generating revenue here or generating a baseline of revenue here, and then we're going to have a big influx, don't freeze the account or shut it down. Typically they'll flag it or white flag it, I should say, so that you don't get shut down. And it hasn't happened to me since, because I've done that with hasn't happened to me at all with any of my clients, because we've done that. But a lot of people don't know that.
So do you think that with this payments.ai, they're going to be kind of like their own payment processor, kind of like like Stripe?
Correct.
So that they're going to take a fee?
There are a lot of online entrepreneurs that create their own payment processing within their clients on their own platform, so that they can make a percentage of
No way.
any payment they receive and or any transaction that their client receives. I mean, yeah, you could set yourself up as a payment processor with a lot of different companies.
I didn't even know that. Is that what they're going to do? That's crazy if that's what they're going to do. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. It's like, why is Stripe almost $100 billion valuation company? Is
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
because they're making 3% of every transaction. So it's like, if you just telling your clients the same way I would tell my clients to use ClickFunnels, say, hey, use this payment processor, and you can say, hey, this is my company, or it's a company I partner with, you could make a percentage of every transaction that they are running through that payment process.
Did he mention in the presentation that he's going to be doing that? Or he's just saying he'll connect to Stripe?
No, I'm not saying that is available in their payments.ai, because they want to make that money, not us. I'm just saying that there are other payment processing companies.
No, I know. I just want to know if payments.ai is going to be a replacement to Stripe versus an integration. And I can see they're going to integrate with Stripe for sure.
100%.
But I just wonder if payments.ai is like, I don't need Stripe. I just use payments.ai.
My understanding is that is yes, but obviously people will still want to use Stripe. So I'm assuming, just like anything, there will be an API that
That'd be great. Imagine they do that.
you can already have an API to use Stripe and not payments.ai. I know that they're obviously want everyone to be using payments.ai, I'm sure, to replace Stripe. Because, well, I don't know the exact number, but they've processed like some number of, I think like $14 billion or something insane on ClickFunnels.
Yeah. I know.
So like Stripe has essentially been the company that's like making the percentages of all that. And they're probably like, after the fact, why weren't we making the percentages of all that ready?
Yeah, I know. Because like, even if they ended up making it, like, let's say Stripe charges, what is it, 3.5% or something like that? I forget.
It's like 3.5. You could get it lower if you're doing the volume or the number of transactions, but initially that's the baseline.
Yeah. So imagine they just did it at, even 1.5% or 2.5% or something like that. It would become like a no-brainer for a lot of people.
And the valuation of the business would be a lot higher, because it's a whole new revenue stream.
It would be crazy. Yeah. I mean, that would just be nuts, because processing fees is like, one of my biggest expenses. I think, I remember like, it just always like, every time I see it, I was like, like, you get this big payment for a client, and then there's such a big chunk that gets taken out just to receive the money, so it's just like, holy. I think, kind of not too sure about this whole email systems and membership sites they're doing, but in terms of analytics and payments, I think those two features alone make it a no-brainer for them to level up the pricing, and that's crazy.
Well, the fact that we're still having to pay that much of the revenue we're making,
it's crazy. That's why everyone's really big right now on crypto, being able to receive money through crypto and stuff, right? Because it's like, yeah.
I had a high-ticket client pay me in Bitcoin. One of my clients, we did a product launch in 2016 where we accepted Bitcoin. I mean, I totally agree with that. My primary offering is a high-ticket offer, so I only process those transactions through ACH, and I don't even use like Stripe. So I'm not paying the fee.
What's ACH?
So ACH collections with Chase, it's just different way to process like the transactions. You can automatically collect payments from the external bank accounts, and it's called an automated clearinghouse. You don't pay on a percentage basis, it's like $10,
Right. We do stuff like that. Yeah. Just like a bank transfer.
Yeah, because if you're processing like $10,000, $25,000, $50,000 transaction, like I'm not paying Stripe 3%. If it's 10 grand, that's $300. So when you're doing high ticket, it matters a lot. But when you're doing volume at scale for front end funnels and lower ticket, it matters too. That's why the smart people are renegotiating fees. But I had one of my clients where I helped them do a launch of $1,000 course, and I told them to message Stripe and renegotiate the fee. They didn't, and they did $1.4 million in less than 5 days and paid the 3%.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
I'm like, do you guys know how much money you just lost because you didn't renegotiate this fee? So I think a lot of people just take it for granted. It's just like, oh, that's just an expense. It's just a line item. So I think if someone, whether it's Payments.A or someone else, can make it so we're giving up less of a percentage. And I believe that anyone who's doing high ticket should be processing through ACH and or running credit cards and passing on a processing and handling fee of 3% to your client if they want to pay credit card instead of ACH.
Yeah. Do you know about the buy now, pay later stuff, right?
Yeah.
You know what they're doing, right? They're trying to take market share by offering these payment plans with no fee. They get the processing fee from the seller, but they're giving these payment, which is helping to combat against Stripe.
Why does Shopify have a $34 billion market cap? They've become the category kings of any company or business that wants to start selling physical product online utilizing their e-commerce Shopify platform. So Russell in ClickFunnels, they saw this as a huge opportunity of an entire new market segment to tap into. So what they did is the biggest feature in phase 2 of the rollout, which is the future rollout, is having an entirely new e-commerce store and platform where instead of only using ClickFunnels to sell people one physical product and then upsell them more of the same thing or a complementary product on a subsequent upsell page, now you can go and send traffic to an actual physical store that has all these different types of product categories, product SKUs, full product catalog, etc., that looks exactly similar to how a Shopify e-commerce site would be laid out. Now they have the ability to go after the people who love ClickFunnels more than Shopify and use ClickFunnels as funnels to drive traffic to the Shopify store, bring those people back into leaving Shopify, bring them back in the ClickFunnels, and more importantly, go to the existing Shopify audience and the future Shopify audience and say, hey, the best way to make you sell more physical product on your e-com store is with funnels. Come over to our platform and we have the best of the both worlds now with funnels and e-com store. It's a big strategy of how they could go from 120,000 users to 500,000 users, just going after bringing over more people of the e-commerce market segment who are either using Shopify or going to use it in the future. And cart funnels is another big element of that.
Hey, do you know how many users Shopify has? Oh, here it says. What? No way. It says they have 3 million, almost 4 million users? No way. Let's see this. 4 million is crazy if they have 4 million users. Yeah, they do. It says 4 million e-commerce websites. That's crazy. And I also think Shopify is ready for disruption because Shopify, although, I don't know what the pricing is when you first get started, every feature you need like a plugin. And it's a closed ecosystem into these plugins. And I heard...
Right. It's like 20 apps that you need to actually make it do what you want it to do.
Yeah. And you end up spending it's like $1,000 a month or more, right? By the time you really build it out, right? And I heard from Alex Becker from Hyros that they're now taking, I think it was like 20% of all the sales from all the apps or something like that. It was like a new thing they started doing. Or they want 20% of, all the sales. It wasn't even just like from the app. It was like, if you're in the app store, they get 20% of your business. That's how he had described it. I remember in a Facebook post. And I was like, that's crazy. And basically what happens, you create a monopoly and then you just do whatever you want. And we've been talking about this whole concept of monopolies recently on the show. And I do think that Shopify is beginning to create a monopoly. Of course, there's many ways to make an e-commerce site. There's many competitors. But at 4 million users for a specifically e-commerce platform, and that they can just all of a sudden say, we're going to take 20% of all the sales from our app store, just like, or whatever percent it was, just like Apple does and Google does now and so on, right? I was like, that's also why I don't like the whole all-in-one platform. What happens when ClickFunnels does that? Or, all of a sudden, hey, you know what? We're not $500 a month anymore. $2,000 a month. You don't like it? I'm not saying they're going to do that. Give you examples. Like if you're all in on one platform.
Competition is healthy. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, right? That's why I do really like that ClickFunnels is kind of going after the Shopify thing. Plus, if you have an e-commerce site, you could just download your, basically like a CSV file of all your products, right? That's what you use to like upload into Google Shop and all that kind of of stuff. So it should be relatively simple to transition. You download your file, you upload it into ClickFunnels, all your products are there. You got to rebuild maybe your website pages and stuff like that, right? But the page builder in ClickFunnels is like way more easy than building in Shopify.
Oh yeah.
Right? Shopify, you gotta, it's a full on coding, right? If you're gonna, if you want to customize a template.
Totally, which all the Shopify sites I've built they've used code and they've used customization. And I think a lot of their biggest thing was like they really leveraged the whole movement of businesses selling physical product and building businesses in the e-commerce space on the backbone of the whole influencer marketing movement. So you had the influencers create their own product on Shopify because it was super simple and easy to push their audience to merch and physical product versus creating some kind of educational based business, which expert based business, which is a lot more complex, right? And then you had all of the smart physical product sellers, drop shippers who were just selling product here, sourcing them from, China, Alibaba, Express, et cetera, then having them do the drop shipping model fulfillment. And then you had all of the people who were building brands on the backbone of Shopify, but didn't have the personal brand in the face. So they went to run ads and then do influencer marketing and paying influencers to either by giving them free product or by giving them some kind of referral code to give their audience to redeem on the site, and or just by paying them per shout out, right? By giving them equity, by giving them a rev share. There's all the different ways to do it, but it's the business paying the influencer. And previously to this, the only way the influencer would get paid is through brand deals and other brands reaching out to them and paying them to shout them out. So you have this huge movement of influencers seeking out brands to get paid to actually monetize their audience, and brands seeking out influencers to pay them in the different ways I just reviewed. But they were laughing all the way to the bank because they were leveraging the goodwill the influencers established to monetize their own business through the physical product sales.
So what are you saying? Like you're saying this ClickFunnels will be able to offer like affiliate links, or like how is it going to be different?
I'm just saying that's the reason that Shopify really exploded, just on the backbone of this new age of creators. Whereas most creators they're content creators. That's their life. That's their business. They don't have like a business that they're funneling traffic to. They're making money. Like I just watched this video of this YouTuber at Vid Summit interview all the top YouTubers, and they're talking about how much money they made, and all they were saying was their revenues from AdSense and merch and brand deals. They're not like us where they're selling memberships, courses, high ticket services, done for you, done with you services, where that's our business.
Got you. Yeah.
So we're business owners, business entrepreneurs, and we create content and run ads to fuel leads and sales into our business. They're content creators who make money in those different ways, have a side hustle or send traffic to physical product because that's how they can monetize their content. So Shopify was the platform of choice for a lot of these brands to leverage the influencers to send the traffic to, because it's super simple to say, hey, I'm wearing this tank, I'm wearing this hoodie. If you want it, it's free or it's 20% off using my code, go here, right? Where I think a lot of people on the ClickFunnels space, because they haven't tapped into the e-commerce segment yet, it's a lot more expert-driven businesses, local businesses, expert-driven businesses that are trying to generate leads to get sales into their courses, memberships, high-ticket programs, done-for-you services, as opposed to sending people to like a full product suite e-commerce store the way Shopify did.
Yeah, that's a very interesting insight.
So if ClickFunnels can now establish their own store, their own cart funnels, and people can leverage the same creator economy, influencer economy, but send that traffic there can instantly be a lot more businesses that are built on the backbone of the ClickFunnels e-commerce stores instead of just Shopify.
Wow, you're right. ClickFunnels is not that big with the creator. Like I don't hear them kind of, for example, sponsoring a lot of YouTubers, but Shopify is sponsoring a lot of YouTubers and they're very big into the creator space. Wow, it's very interesting.
And because they're going to start with the end in mind and keep their core principle of having a great user interface, being really easy to use. I can see a lot of these influencers coming on there for the first time and creating their own product or sourcing their own products, et cetera, because the website part that used to be harder, a little more complicated on Shopify, even if you are using a template, it's a lot more easily solvable, and or there are more businesses that could approach them to do shout outs, partnerships, JV relationships, et cetera.
Yeah. And there's going to be the affiliate stuff already built in. You don't got to go get a bunch of apps and stuff.
Yeah, it's like exactly. If you're promoting the platform itself to your audience, you could be making affiliate income from that.
It's way faster, way easier to use. 100%. Interesting.
So the other big thing that is going to be rolling out, which I've done a lot of big joint venture launches. I did a joint venture launch on ClickFunnels using JV partners and affiliate tracking that did $1.1 million in less than 5 days. The problem with doing it is ClickFunnels' original affiliate system called Backpack was not set out to track everything as accurately as we needed. So I had one of the top ClickFunnels developers who used to work at ClickFunnels, but I contracted him for some business to custom code the ability to accurately track the affiliate users and their links based on the sales and the traffic and sales that they made, but it was totally custom. So now in order to grow and have less people using other platforms for running their JV launches and their affiliate programs, they're really going to tap into their new affiliate system and go in on that, managing it through their also, all the high ticket stuff, like people using Pipedrive and different things like that, Salesforce in general, high ticket people in the sales industry who are using CRMs to track and manage and follow up with leads using their own CRM. So those are two huge things. And then also,
Jeff, before we move on from the affiliate thing, I know one thing that I had, figured out and I had to kind of figure out was when you're doing an application funnel and you're not going right to a payment processor, how do you track which leads came from what affiliate, right? I ended up creating this like custom cookie system, but it only works on WordPress. And I use like hidden form fields that will like put in the cookie in the field and turn into a tag in ActiveCampaign.
Right. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Application funnels are a big thing, right? Webinar signups could be a big thing, right? And also now the cookie is being phased out. It's already off of Safari. That's what hurt Facebook's business. And Google's phasing out the cookie in 2023. So there's a lot of talk about what's going to be the new cookie, basically, right? The new way of tracking. So I think that's probably why this is on phase 2 of the roadmap, because it's kind of like people are still trying to figure out what is the future of tracking of cookies. So I'd be curious to know what they end up doing for that.
Totally. So some of the last segments is another huge topic of conversation is when people are getting into the online business, it's the ultimate dream, making money while you sleep. Warren Buffett said, if you don't make money while you sleep, you'll work until the day you die. So everyone comes into the online world wanting to make money while they're sleeping. And the number one way that everyone knows how to do that or learns how to do that is through Evergreen, running automated Evergreen launches, whether it's 4-part video series launches, webinars, etc. So they have this whole new element of countdown funnels where you can implement countdown timers within the funnel itself and then also within your emails you're sending through ClickFunnels, which is very cool. So typically you could do this easily, but you would just have to use other softwares with ClickFunnels. So now everything's going to be embedded within their own platform. And then there's also some different conversion boosting tools, different ways to split test more successfully, more significantly, more accurately. And they're also going to have their own open API, which is big because now people can develop on ClickFunnels in their own API to build their own app. So Jamie Smith of CF Pro Tools was a big advocate of this. He built a lot of unique things, custom coding, custom plugins to do new things on ClickFunnels that hadn't been done. And they pretty much acquired him and or his company I was just talking to Jamie at Funnel Hacking Live. So he still does some of his stuff on his own, but he's been pretty much with them for a while. And a lot of the cool, unique things that ClickFunnels was doing was custom stuff that Jamie had built within CF Pro Tools. So imagine if you had 100 different Jamies, 1,000 different Jamies, building all these really cool projects that people could develop on top of the existing ecosystem and software, in addition to complement and support the in-house development team and the in-house roadmap that they're building, really makes it where the possibilities are endless. And then they're going to have their own internal app marketplace on top of that once developers start building different apps, just the way similar to how Shopify does, where it could be free apps, paid apps, and then you could build an app that people are paying you to use. And then, you make money by all these users of ClickFunnels starting to use your apps. And if they see one take off, they'll probably end up buying it and just rolling it up in there as opposed to charging their users extra.
Or they could just copy it. That will be interesting to see. I think they've tried to do something. Oh yeah, they did that with funnel templates. They had a marketplace. I don't think it went very well.
Yeah, that was, I think, more for structured it like done for you service providers. So you could create a template, sell the template, monetize the template you created, and then you could also use it as a way to generate leads for people to hire you to build your own, to build funnels for them. But it was pretty much essentially what like all the WordPress template websites do. What whether it's like Template Monster or
right,
Theme Forest, all that kind of stuff.
I know. But was that successful? Like, is that marketplace still around?
But no, that definitely never took off.
Yeah. Because I remember going in there and it was like, it's so easy to build. Like you could just look at one and then just make it if you know how to use it. But it's like, I guess if you don't know anything, but if you don't know anything, just use the templates that are already there. I don't know.
My team actually, we actually have custom software that they built. So now we can hack a funnel instantly, pixel by pixel, and then I'll just study it, reverse engineer, and templatize it, and then use it in my own launches and my clients' launches.
Oh man, you shouldn't have admitted that. I'm pretty sure that someone had did that. They banned them. Do you know that? Someone was talking about they made something where you click a button and it just copies the whole funnel into ClickFunnels, and they banned it.
Oh no, people are doing that every day.
I heard about that.
Yeah, we still do that.
Oh, really? Okay.
I mean, you don't want to do that and like launch someone else's funnel, right? Because you're like intellectual property, copyright, copy theft.
Of course.
But if you're doing it for your own internal use to like study it, there's no harm in doing it.
Or just like, get the layout, you change it, change the copy and stuff like that, right? That's funnel hacking. That's what this is all about, right?
You could do it on your own, like pixel by pixel, and take months to do it, or you could do it instantly.
Well, sometimes, I mean, there's a lot of them where like you could literally build in like an hour, right? That's what's beautiful about ClickFunnels, is that like if you know what you're doing, you could just pop it in, boom, 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 right?
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of funnels are more simple too. I'm talking about, we use it for like some of the sales pages of these multi-million-dollar launches that are like 30 pages long.
Oh, I see. All right, let's wrap it up. Any final last thoughts on ClickFunnels 2.0? What are your thoughts there?
So I think in theory, it's all very exciting. I think I definitely am someone who, being in the first ever ClickFunnels certification program in 2015 with you, Matt, coming full circle here, we've been using the platform, one of the early people to use it. It's a quintessential piece of my business. So I know there's different softwares out there, different competing products, but I'm someone who I believe in the leaders of the business. You know, a lot of investors, they talk about betting on the jockey, not the horse. So for me, I'm betting on the jockey, not the horse. I'm betting on Russell and Todd's ability to create the best team possible to navigate and implement the successful roadmap to the best of their ability. And like I said, I'm someone who I believe in the carpenter and not the tools they use. You know, it's the Indian and not the arrow. So if you can focus on the strategy of how to make the funnel successful and follow the right coach, consultant, expert in the specific launch system and launch framework they're using, make a specific type of funnel work. I think all of this other stuff, other features they're going to add on, it's icing on the cake, it's cherry on top. So I don't really care necessarily if I have to use different platforms to complement ClickFunnels and the funnel builder. All I know is that long term, I would love to have more of an all-in-one solution because I think it would save time and money. But I'm going to be patient. I'm not going to overreact at the beginning. I'm definitely not going to be the first guinea pig and like move everything else over off the other platforms tomorrow out of the gate. I will start building funnels in 2.0, but I definitely want to give them some time to work out the kinks, work out the bugs, let some of the other users be their guinea pigs. And then once I start testing stuff and seeing other people saying, hey, it's killing it, everything's the follow-up funnels, the marketing automation, the memberships, they're working for me. I mean, I think memberships and funnels, to me, those seem to be things that would be easier to roll out quickly. But before we get into the whole affiliate system, shopping cart phase 2, CRM phase 2, marketing automation and follow-up phase 1, you know, I'm not going to be the first one rolling that out, right? That's what I could say. But I do have faith that they will figure it out. I do believe that I'm going to bet on these jockeys that they can get their horse to win the race, Matt.
How do you sign up for ClickFunnels 2.0? I was seeing that some people are doing some affiliate marketing for it. I'm an affiliate for ClickFunnels. I was looking at my dashboard. I think I did like over $40,000 or $50,000 in affiliate sales since I started, which I was unaware of and all of a sudden proud of. I have some links and some blog posts and stuff like that. And I was promoting it very early, right? I think I got a lot of early users on there, and I would love to be able to promote it some more. And I'm just curious, like, do you know about that? Like, as an affiliate now, can I create a link that can get people to go who are already ClickFunnels users to upgrade or something like that? Can I do that? Or like, how do you get it right now? Do you even know?
Yeah. So there is a non-affiliate link that they gave to everyone at Funnel Hacking Live. And I don't even know if I'm supposed to be sharing it, but if you're listening this long to us, you might as well get it too. So that was CF 2.0. And the point is the word POINT. So that's how we signed up for it at the event. But right now, some of the early evangelists, some of the top affiliates, they were able to promote the Your First Funnel Challenge that Russell's doing right now, the week of October 10th through the 14th. It's a 5-day challenge. And that's officially opening up full public access to ClickFunnels 2.0. So I'm sure he's going to let affiliates promote ClickFunnels 2.0 in your dashboard platform wide after this event, this first launch ends. But I believe they limited it to like top affiliates being able to promote this challenge, this 5-day challenge, this Your First Funnel challenge. So I'm not sure
So if you go to the URL that you just suggested and you click on join, it redirects you to Your First Funnel Challenge. So
correct. So now they're trying to just get everyone in through Your First Funnel Challenge. And They did tell you in that challenge how you could create your 2.0 account because they want people building their first funnel in 2.0. That's the whole point of the challenge. And then they're going to make an offer that's going to include, like Russell built ClickFunnels on the back of his funnel hack software. They did that same thing.
Cool.
But I'm sure affiliate wide on the whole network, you'll soon have links to promote ClickFunnels specifically. And I'm sure all of the affiliate links in there, homepage links, etc. Free trial will be to 2.0 and not 1.0 in the very near term.
So if you guys are watching this, I'm going to find my affiliate link. I'm going to put it in the description of this, so you guys could maybe use it, support the show. And I don't even know how it's gonna work, if that's even gonna be a thing yet. But regardless, even though there's no affiliate link, I'll go figure out how you upgrade. This show is gonna come out probably in like a couple weeks from when we recorded it. Probably by then, ClickFunnels 2.0 will just be available. I'm not sure how it works. Nonetheless, if it's not available yet, I will have a link in the description for you guys to be able to do the upgrade, figure out what that is. Jeff, how can people learn about you and what can they learn from you?
Yeah, first and foremost, Matt, thanks so much for having me. It's been a pleasure chopping it up, and it's always a great time hanging out with you and catching up. Hope a lot of people got value of just ClickFunnels from a strategic standpoint and a tactical standpoint of what you can use the platform for now and in the future. And I'm a product launch expert to other online experts, and I help people launch their first or their next challenge launch, and I do a lot of webinar launches as well. So if anyone wants to learn more about 10xing their business and taking it to the next level online, I'd be happy to help you and talk to you in more detail. I have a Done With You program called the Launch Syndicate, in which I help them launch their first and next challenge launch in 30 days of joining. So I'm all about implementation, action, not just education, giving them the right content, coaching, and community. And the best way for them to reach me would be just follow me on Instagram at Jeff_Brewer.
What is your website though? I'm just trying to find it.
Launchhackerlab.com. And then I have a new site coming out soon too, but that'll be those are the best two places to find me for now.
I'm gonna have like all your social and your website and all that in the description of every single one of the videos that we put out, all the clips.
Cool, you're the man.
So yeah, you guys want to find it, regardless of what clip you're watching, you can find it at the bottom and go and see what Jeff is up to. And then I'll put your Instagram there. You want your Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that, or what do you use?
Instagram's the best spot for now.
Just Instagram, nothing else? So website and Instagram?
You got it.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening in, and we'll see you next week.